My name is Fredrik Norberg Schiefauer and I'm a doctoral student in church history at Lund University, Sweden. I'm very grateful and honored at the news of having the privilege of winning the 2022 REFORC Paper Award. The paper was originally presented at the 11th REFORC Conference at Freie Universität in Berlin in May of this year. The paper gives a glimpse of my doctoral research on prayer books as tools of recatholicization among Protestant populations in the Holy Roman Empire between the years 1550 and 1750. We know through previous research that prayer books and other kinds of devotional literature were used as instruments for instructing Catholics and non-Catholics in the faith and practices of the Catholic Church. We also know that they were often filled with confessional polemics, which was also true about the Protestant devotional literature of the time. But what I noticed was that almost nothing had been written about how prayer books were used as catechetical tools, and especially as tools for turning people back, so to speak, to the Catholic Church and the Catholic faith. In my paper, I study two 16th century German language Catholic prayer books. The first book was published in 1558 and was compiled by the Dominican priest Johann Faber, preacher at the Cathedral of Augsburg, who was an active apologist of the Catholic faith against the ideas of the Protestant reformers. The second book was written by the Jesuit Petrus Michaelis Brillmacher in 1587. As Faber, also Brillmacher was an apologist of and a so-called controversialist, whose devotional books became very popular also and influential also among Protestants. Brillmacher even states in the title page of his prayer book that it is not only for the right believers, the Catholics, but also for the readers led astray by many false teachings, as he puts it. So I would say that it's quite evident that he wants to reach out to non-Catholics with his prayer book. In 1929, a Swedish church historian, Sigfrid Esborn, mentioned both prayer books as examples of books that were published with an anti-evangelical purpose, as he puts it, aiming at resisting and combating the Protestants. I don't think that this was the only purpose of these books, but I think it's partly true. Both books show a considerable amount of polemics against the Protestants, but they also offer examples of intercessions for non-Catholics for the sake of their salvation. Another way in which they deal with Protestants is that they counter and respond to Protestant critique against the Catholic faith and Catholic practices, critique that is dismissed as misunderstandings by the authors. Often they refer to the Church Fathers as the old Christians to emphasize the ancient origin and thus the orthodoxy of these beliefs and practices. What is especially noteworthy regarding the catechetical function of these prayer books are the subjects that they are dealing with. The emphasis is very much on beliefs and practices where Catholics and Protestants disagreed, and such as, for example, the Church as an institution, the Pope, the sacraments, the sacrifice of the Mass, purgatory, prayers of the dead, for the dead, prayers to Mary, the saints, and so on. This is done with catechetical introductions, as I call it, to the prayers dealing with these particular subjects, especially in Faber's prayer book. In Brillmacher's prayer book, the catechetical function is more apparent since it's combined with a complete catechism. Here the user can relate the prayers to the official teachings of the Church. My conclusion is that by countering misunderstandings about the faith, as they put it, and by using these catechetical texts and methods, the authors want to lead people, the non-Catholic readers, in the right direction. That is, as it were, back to the Catholic faith and Roman Catholic jurisdiction. I hope that I have given you a fair introduction to an abstract of my paper, and it's also my hope and belief that I, with this paper and my dissertation project, can contribute to the field of early modern church history and shed new light on the confessionalization and recatholicization processes and the emergence of confessional identities and cultures in early modern Europe. So I want to thank the board of REFORC, all participants at the conference in Berlin, and especially the committee working with the paper award. It is very encouraging, and I'm very grateful for receiving this award. Thank you.